Hello. Who are not talking, can you mute yourself, please? We have 12 participants. Still, I think a lot of people are going to join, so we'll wait for some time. Hi, Vivek. I can see you. I can't hear you.
Video on करवा चो, है ना?
Let me put light. Should we start or should we wait for some more time? It is okay, just 8:01. Okay. We'll wait for 5 minutes.
No problem.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, this is Raja.
Hey, Raja. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for initiating, man. Much appreciate that.
Okay, I thought I was really getting bored. I thought, okay, let's do something.
It's a good initiative. I just saw that. I thought, okay, it's a good opportunity at least to get things to know, which is like at least we can start spending time on the things which like getting started at the new phase. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you responded so well, and I feel in fact good to be and sharing some of my knowledge.
Okay, that's nice of you, man.
Hi, this is Sunita here.
Hey, Sunita. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the invite, though.
Hi, Kapil.
Hi, Arvind here.
Hey, Panch, Falak is on.
Yeah, hi, Falak. Good to see you, man.
Hey, hi, Panch. How are you?
Yeah, good, sir. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, after a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, good number of people joined. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 people.
Hi, Madhu here. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Harshal here. Thank you for the invite.
Wow, good number of people joined.
Hi, Priya Ranjan join.
Hey, Priya.
Hey, Manas join.
Thanks, Manas.
Hey, this is Temple.
Hi, Kapil's on.
Hi, this is Dilip. Much appreciated for the invitation.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Let's see how many are joining. Just it's going to be 8:05, so we'll start at around 8:05.
Hello, Saubhagya joined.
Hi, Vatsya. Good to see you.
Hi. Same here.
Okay, it's 8:05 now. So total, how many participants? Anybody can count?
30.
30? Wow, okay, good. Feeling really good that, okay, able to share some of my thoughts and knowledge. First of all, I thank you for joining, for my invite and responding to my invite. And so I thought really doing something when we are just sitting at home and enjoying it with our kids. Thought something doing differently. I thought, okay, let's start something, and thanks for accepting and encouraging too. So, first is let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this will be going forward. This will be the agenda: architecting and deploying applications on cloud. Okay, so all this cloud and DevOps will be part of it. So that we'll ultimately see once we finish the course, we'll see how so it will be my intention is to who are not talking, can request to mute, please.
Yeah, I think you should be able to mute others if you want.
No, there are 30. I cannot. I don't know who is talking. So please mute yourself.
Okay.
So okay. So when I talk about cloud and DevOps, I intend to finish actually how to architect, how to deploy applications on cloud. Okay, that includes how to create the infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, and also how to create a pipeline to deploy it, deploy applications on that cloud. Okay, so anyway, let's go to the agenda of today. First is introduction to the team. Some people are joining still, 32. Okay. So that's first thing. We'll introduce ourselves, then talk about some basics about cloud, and if time permits, we'll see that today we'll be able to create at least our accounts in some public cloud environment. That's the intention. Okay. Request to mute, and that's all today we'll do. We'll create, if time permits, then we'll create an instance and we'll access it. That is the time permits. But otherwise, in this week or next, we'll definitely achieve all these things, create an instance in the cloud and access that instance, okay? So that will be the very, very basics. We'll finish it. So going to the introduction part, my name is Panchaleshwar Nayak. Some of you already know me. And because I heard that we are not just warriors, many are also non-warriors are joining. So I'm from Odisha, India. I stayed in New Jersey, moved to Erie, Pennsylvania. Currently, I'm in Erie, PA, Pennsylvania, near to the Erie Lake. So that's about me, but about my professional background, this is what I am. Have around 23 years experience in IT. Work with companies like Sun Microsystems, Vmware, EMC, HCL, Syntel, and Pivotal recently I left. So on cloud front, I have got around more than 12 years, around 13 years experience, starting from virtualization journey when it started almost in 2006, when the virtualization started. And that I believe we started in Sun Microsystems. So when the cloud world didn't know cloud, we were talking about containers in 2005. So that time I started my career with cloud, virtualization, containers, everything. So I was one of the Solaris developer in Sun Microsystems. And I started my career with Java development as well inside Sun. And in the journey, I have worked in various technologies, various clouds, including AWS, Azure, Google, Pivotal Cloud Foundry, IBM Cloud, and some other, obviously, Kubernetes, and worked on different DevOps environments, different DevOps tools, so on and so forth. And also, I wanted to give, I created a DevOps orchestration toolchain, which I created actually in one of my company I was working. And that is my product. I conceived, designed, architected, and created DevOps toolchain orchestration and automation platform named RDops, Reliable DevOps as a Service. So this is my tool, and it was still with the company called Reliable Software. Currently, I work as a director of the cloud and DevOps practice in a company named Value Momentum, which is in New Jersey, Piscataway. And I started my career in Java-based application development. That's about me. And I will now have the opportunity to know you if you want to say something. So we'll go one by one. I wanted to have this opportunity to know your background, like what you're expecting. If you can finish it in just maybe 10 seconds, 10 to 20 seconds each, then maybe we'll come to know about what is the background of you, your name, and maybe your background, what you are expecting. If you can answer yourself in these three, your name and what is your background in terms of cloud and DevOps, and if nothing is there, that's fine. But I want to know how much you have already and what you're expecting from this training or maybe meeting. Please start, if you can start someone.
So, hi, this is Falak. I work in the North Jersey, and basically I do have a little bit hands-on on Azure, and I had basically somewhat experience with AWS. So I'm trying to gain some additional knowledge from this session, and might be will plan for one of the certification, which might be added the value in my profile.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks.
Hey, this is Raja Sundar. I'm a pure project manager, and I worked out of New York. And yeah, with all this cloud and other thing that goes across the market with Azure, I just want to understand at least a glimpse of it, how things are being done in the cloud. It's a bit of a fundamental for me.
Okay.
Hi, this is Ashit here. Ashit Kumar Nayak. I am nephew of Panchaleshwar Nayak, who is presenting. So hello to everyone, and maybe I'm the junior most resource here. So I have background with mainframes and working as an application developer for City Dynamics in Mexico City. And I have no prior background with cloud, but however, I know Linux and other things during my college days. So I'm looking forward to, because banking is moving towards cloud. So I'm thinking I can switch my career into that side. That is my expectation out of this. Thank you.
Hey, this is Senthil. I'm sorry.
You may continue.
Yeah, hey, so this is Senthil, and I'm a Java developer, and I work in New York City, and I haven't done anything in cloud yet, but I want to understand the basics of it, and then maybe if there are some open source that I can develop some applications, deploy it myself, understand how it is. That's what I'm expecting out of it. Thanks.
Hi, this is Dilip Behera, and I'm with IT since 15 years. And recently, I just completed the AWS certification. But I started my career with C, C++, Pro, C, Unix, Oracle. But as being a techno-functional manager, I recently completed the AWS certification, and I'm just trying to gain more knowledge on this DevOps sites also. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Actually contribute something also, I think.
Sorry?
I said you can contribute something too to this training.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm having techno-functional role as an architect and everything. But yeah, I started with career C, C++, which is no more in demand now. That's why I'm bound to switch something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely. Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vivek Agarwal. I started my career as a Java developer, currently working in PLM, Product Lifecycle Management, on a Siemens-based tool. And I'm passionate about learning different technologies, currently pursuing a course on Mendix, which is a tool to build applications with less code. And it is again from Siemens. And I'm also interested in learning into cloud. I have done some hands-on with Predix, which was a platform from GE, but it didn't get any edge on the market and is not known anymore. But I've done some work on Predix, which was a cloud platform also on iOS.
Great. Anybody else want to take the opportunity?
Hi, this is Chandan Patra. I've been working in IT for 16 years and almost 10 years in cloud and 5 years in AWS, 5 years, more than 5 years in PCF, PKS, and like the DevOps tools.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I know Panchaleshwar's friend. I have been working with them, Dax and Krishna. So I just saw your profile. I said, okay, there are some known faces, your connection. So because you're thought leader, I thought, okay, I'll see your perspective of DevOps and like how I can put it in my, like it can help me in my way of letting people introduce to DevOps and cloud world. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Antaryami, working on Oracle WebLogic middleware for a long time, around 15 years. Now we are creating some tools to push this on-premises application to the cloud. So we are working with some WebLogic Kubernetes operator set of things so that people can deploy the WebLogic application within a minute. So I'm working on that sort of tool, but we are slowly moving to the CI/CD process, all these things. So I want to know more actually. Thanks.
Hi, this is Madhu, and I'm into business and project management. I do not have any prior experience in cloud platform, so that's why I'm here. I want to learn more about it. Thank you.
Hi, it's Arvinda here, and I have experience as a ERP specialist, mostly on Microsoft Dynamics applications. But I work most of them on premises applications. But recently we moved to Workday on the cloud-based ERP applications. So on that, I have a little experience on cloud on Workday.
Great, thank you.
Hi, this is Herschel. I work on Oracle EPM on premises and cloud applications almost 14 years now. And I was talking with one of my friend actually, who is a common friend with you too. His name is Sunil Kumar and Jyoti Prakash Mahapatra. So I was talking about some technologies and then your name came up and then they recommended me to join. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sangeeta, and I also don't have much prior experience with AWS, so it's just a platform to learn and sitting at home thinking of changing the technology, so just thought of joining.
Okay, I think we have, I like to hold it here because I think we have a lot of participants, so it will take all the time today. So I just wanted to cut it short. Let's do one thing. Who are all new? Can you please tell me who are all new to the cloud, or you don't have any prior background?
Sangeeta, 1.
Madhu, 2.
Varsha.
Raja. Varsha 3 and Raja 4.
Vikram 5.
Madhu, Varsha
6.
Arvinda 7.
Okay. Madhu, Varsha, Raja, Sangeeta.
And Sunita here for.
Sunita. Anybody else?
And Arvinda.
Arvinda, okay.
Hey, Ravi, I'm new to the cloud too.
Ravi, Asit,
I was I was using raising my hand on Zoom so that you have the data. That's it.
Okay, got it. Okay. Tirthankar and Aravinda. Okay. Today it will take some time just to, because we just started on plant. So bear with me, please.
Yeah, it's an unplanned year from every aspect. A lot of unplanned things are happening, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Thank you for understanding. Next time, I think we'll have it completely planned and make it very professionally conducted.
This introduction is good. I mean, we should know. It will help who are new to these things. We can at least know where to start and how to make them comfortable.
Let's. If you guys are fine, I am fine actually. I like.
Yeah.
So if you want to go ahead with the introduction, please do that. If anybody wants to introduce again, please go ahead.
This is Varsha. I was a Java developer, but currently I'm a homemaker doing home management. That's all I'm just trying to re-enter to the software world. So for that reason I'm here.
By the way, Varsha is in Canada, right?
Yeah, I'm in Canada.
Okay. Anybody else, please go ahead. Looks like nobody else. Okay. Or still anybody, 1 minute, please. Great. So let's, again, I'm sharing my screen. So I believe these are the things some of you already know because some of you already advanced in cloud. So it won't make sense for you, but some of you will come to know what is cloud and what are the deployment models and what are the types of cloud. That's all today, and we're going to talk about. So this is the types of cloud. So how many of you really know about private, public, hybrid, multi-cloud, and community cloud? Can you differentiate? How many? I'll see if I can conduct one. Can you please raise your hand if you can? Okay. 5 raised your hands. They already know. What about the others?
This
No
is
idea, man.
Madhu. I have no idea about it.
Okay.
Same here, this is Raja.
Okay. Anybody can explain, please? I want it should be like contributed by everybody, not just me. If you want to talk, please go ahead. I definitely, we all are free to talk. It's not a one-way training session or something. If anybody wants to really talk about it, please go ahead.
So public cloud, I believe, would be open and to the public, like in the sense it's on the AWS platform where anyone can access. They can create their own area, and it's shareable resources with your data center and everything. Hybrid, I believe it's a mix where you restrict few of the things specific to your corporate or your organization, and few would be on the public domain where resources would be shared. And private, I believe, would be on your own premises where you have your own personal data center, you have your own personal equipments, storage devices, your own domain, everything specific and used by your own organization.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate. So, okay, you are absolutely right. So, but let's talk about cloud without naming any service provider at this point. I want to focus actually on technology rather than any service provider specific services. We'll not, whenever we give example, maybe we'll give example about AWS, Azure, or Google or something else. But at this discussion, I want to actually talk about technology rather than any tool or particular service, so that you guys can go and talk about any cloud, not just AWS, Azure, Google, or anything else in particular. So I want to actually make you technology guys rather than, okay, I'm an AWS guy, because I have seen that whenever you talk about cloud, they say, okay, you are AWS or Azure? Something like this, I always get a question. So let's think about cloud as a technology rather than any AWS cloud or Azure cloud. Both have different companies providing some services, but they are not technology. So I want to talk about technology rather than any particular service or company. So we'll not take the name of AWS or Azure or Google. We'll talk about technology in specific. So private cloud is nothing but where you have a data center, any company or any organization, they have a data center inside their company or organization, and they want to get the services from their own. So here in private cloud, the IT department is the service provider. So suppose I work for a company and we have a data center, and the cloud service is provided by the IT division for others to use. So that's a private cloud. So that means the cloud is private to the company or organization, right? So it is still cloud. It is still a service provider, but who is the service provider? The IT division is the service provider to the user of the services. So that's okay.
So, sorry to interrupt. So is this something like you're saying that cloud basically means if we want to map, is it like basically giving the required infrastructure without bothering about the infrastructure when you want to use some service?
Okay. Let's define cloud a bit first. Then I think I missed a point here because I hurriedly prepared the slides. Maybe I want to.
No problem. I don't know. I was just trying to think when you said IT department is a service provider, right? So I was thinking.
Okay, that's, I think most of the time I found that the IT people don't think that I'm working in a particular project now, but IT company thinks, instead of thinking themselves as a service provider, rather than they think they are the owner. That's the bad part actually. So normally all the IT people, IT division think they think that they can dictate for others to use whatever they want. But I believe that IT division of a company is actually a service provider for the services needed for the business applications to run, right? So let's talk about a bank. So they need not know what is cloud, what is technology, what is data center. Do they need to know? The bank need to know. Banking is their business, basically. They have business applications. So their main business is bank. An insurance company, their main business is providing insurance, right? A particular service provider or business service provider, that is what is their main business? Main business is their core business technology. Core business functional thing. But they need not to have any IT division, or they need not to have any cloud, nothing. They need to focus on their core business. So to support that business, they need some of the applications or software to run to facilitate their business, right? So those applications need to be hosted somewhere, right? So those applications, sometimes it is hosted internally inside their own data centers. So previous generation, what they used to do is in their own personal data centers, all the IT used to own that complete software, hardware, everything, which is required for the business to run. So IT is the owner of those hardware, software, and any requirement to fulfill towards providing a good business applications to the business application owners, so that the business will run smoothly. So in that way, the IT department of a company is nothing but a service provider which provide the IT services to the business owners. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I sometimes call that private cloud is nothing but a set of IT services provided by the IT division of a company for the business owners or the business application users to run their business applications, right? So that's what is I call private cloud. Okay, so similarly, public cloud. Public cloud is a IT or software, or maybe I'll define those. What is infra, what is PaaS, what is SaaS, I'll define those later. But public cloud is nothing but a set of services, IT services, set of IT services provided by some third party outside of my business, outside of my company perimeter, or outside. So technically, if you speak, there used to be every company, they have a company firewall, technically. So any services my company is getting outside of that firewall is nothing but a public cloud service provider is providing me that service. So that's what is called public cloud, like AWS, to give an example, AWS, Azure, Google, or nowadays any other. So these are the primary, IBM, again Oracle. These are some of the public cloud service providers are available today in the world. And if we get any services from those companies, then obviously we are consuming the services from the public cloud. So hybrid cloud, what is hybrid cloud? Hybrid cloud again is a combination of both. Like I do have some services running inside my IT data center, and also I'm getting some services from the public cloud. Some people are waiting in the room. Okay. Okay. So that's hybrid cloud. So I'll definitely again tell what is the differences, where actually hybrid cloud is utilized. And multi-cloud again, in today's world, then again, many companies, they have a multi-cloud and hybrid cloud strategy, both combined. So they want to have multiple cloud, multiple public clouds like AWS, Azure, as well as a hybrid private cloud inside the data center. All the services they want to have. So that is a multi-cloud strategy. Community.
Can you give an example here on the multi-cloud?
Okay. Thanks for asking. So I worked in a company. I worked in T-Mobile way back in 2015. Initially they had AWS as a cloud service provider. Now they found later after actually they were T-Mobile was one of the early public cloud adapters. That means they started immediately when the public cloud was available. They almost started 6-7 years back. Some of the services provided by AWS. And over the period of time, in around 3 years, they found that they are over-dependent on public cloud. That means totally they were dependent on AWS. Most of their services were running on AWS. And they didn't have anything if they were running with some sort of, suppose they're not happy with AWS with some services, they didn't have any backup plan. So what they did is, almost they end up spending a lot of paying to AWS actually. In fact, they end up investing more than what they used to invest on private cloud, because so much of dependent. They didn't have any backup plan. So they thought that what we should do now is we should not just dependent on one cloud service provider, that is AWS. So they thought how we can have some service running on AWS, some services running on Azure, and some services running inside the data center also. So they'll have a better bargaining power. Simple. It is simple. Suppose I have an option, I have multiple options, I will have a better bargaining power with my service provider that, okay, I need this much. If you can give me this much discount also, then only I'll go with you. So these are the things, financial aspect, one thing. Second is, if something goes wrong with one cloud provider, one service provider, I can switch over to another cloud provider, right? So this is another way of running the business as usual, irrespective of failure at the cloud front. So that is another thing. So one thing is better choice, better service choice, better bargaining power, and to have some like DR kind of scenario. Suppose disaster recovery plan. Suppose now because due to nobody knew that this COVID-19 will come. So suppose one cloud service provider is completely affected. AWS tomorrow is going down because their employees suppose not able to work. Obviously, due to their dependency on Azure, still they can run.
So the cloud application are totally compatible with any type of provider?
That's a technical question. I would like to answer that in future, whether it is compatible or not. If not, what to be done? I'll answer this question, but ideally we should, right? Ideally, that some service provider, if you are running one application in one, ideally we should able to migrate that application to another cloud. But technically that is not so smooth today itself, but there is a Kubernetes is actually answering that, okay? Or PaaS, maybe, Pivotal Cloud Foundry. There is a way they are actually approaching so that you can have any cloud underlying and you have the same services running, okay? But those are all a bit deeper technical discussion, which obviously I'll answer this question, but maybe later, how it can be done, okay? But ideally, you should be able to do that. Okay, community cloud. Community cloud is again a set of services provided by a community kind of like a hospital or bank. I have set of services just to provide hospitals, or I have a set of cloud services just to provide banks, or some set of particular community I want to serve only. So that is, those are our only community cloud. Based on my experience, suppose I'm a bank, I became very self-sufficient and my data center became oversized. I have some created my own services. I have some surplus services to be provided by maybe another bank. How can I do that? Okay, so these are some of the over a period of time, when we actually start discussing detail, obviously it will be more clarity will come automatically. But these are some of the clouds. Nowadays, many clouds came with like whether everybody has got HR cloud and then sales cloud. And I don't want to name companies, but I'm talking about to example, Salesforce. They became that's like a community cloud kind of thing, right? So it is a SaaS, but still is a community cloud because it serves only some sales professionals or sales related services it provides. Then Hewitt, it provides HR related services, right? So these are some of the community cloud which is provided by some of the public cloud service providers. Okay, so
is there any security issue with the community cloud? We need to be concerned about that.
Okay, these are the questions. Obviously, I have set up slides to be answered once we actually talk about security. So these are some of the things I have, what is called the 5 pillars of a well-architected framework. Okay, so we'll talk about security, reliability, operational excellence, performance, cost, everything we'll talk more. But let's go slowly one by one. Okay. So let's see. These are some of the fundamental differences between different deployment models. So this is cloud service. I call it maybe deployment model. How it is deployed. So okay, let's take a break. Like, do you have any more doubts about my like private, public, hybrid, and multi-cloud before going forward?
Not really any differences. What I understood is basically those different types of cloud are mainly the kind of services, or is it basically like, I don't know where golf cloud would be like a part of it. Is it a type of a cloud, or within public cloud it's kind of a private cloud?
Which cloud? Golf.
Like government cloud, sorry, just give me a second. Like government cloud, they say, right? What does that basically mean?
So I believe it will go as a
Security.
not security. So it is a public cloud provided to only government, right? So it is a combination of, I can say, public cloud and community cloud.
Okay.
So public cloud, it is a service provider provided by a public cloud service provider, but servicing only a set of community, that is government.
So it will fall under a community cloud with a mix of public. It is not actually a type of cloud. That's what you're saying.
It's not providing all the public, but yes, it is provided by a service provider which is public, but it is servicing only one community, which is government.
Got it. Okay. Yep. Thanks.
Okay. So these are the deployment models. That means what the service model means how we actually deploy the cloud to provide the service. So if every cloud service provider today provide all the four, in fact, on-premises, okay, that also I'll tell what is. So let's talk about all the three, even if they provide on-premise nowadays, but I'll take that later. So IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So these are the three types, major deployment models of the cloud today. So let's see what is the difference. Okay, I'll go back maybe 15 years back. We all are, I think, 15, 20 years experience here, at least 10. I believe all are 10 to 15, 10 to 20. So I'll go back 15 years when I started my career, 22 years back. That time, we had only some data centers. So there were obviously no concept of any cloud. And we had like the first one on-premise, and we had networking, storage, servers. Obviously, we didn't have virtualization. I'm talking about 15, 20 years back. There was absolutely no virtualization layer. So we had only servers, storage, networking, and on the servers, we used to install the OS directly. Then middleware, runtime, data, and application. So if you are a old-time Java developer, at that time, what you used to do is have your desktop, then OS, install the operating system, have a Java platform, and start developing application on those, right? If you are not a data center guy, that's fine, but you can visualize your own desktop. You have your own operating hardware, then you have operating system related to Windows, right? And on that, you have, if you're a developer, you can just tell that you have installed some database tool, or maybe MySQL or MS SQL. You have installed, you have Java, and you have a developer tool. And you are writing your application in that, maybe Eclipse, right? And on that Eclipse, you are writing your Java code and you are communicating to a data center, maybe, database, which is MS SQL or something else. And you are deploying and running it. Finally, you are actually there itself, you are compiling and running it. That kind of architecture we had 15, 20 years back, and now in our laptops, still we are actually doing that. That is in a data center, if you see, so because we have only one laptop, we are one user. That's why we didn't have any networking, storage, or servers. We didn't have. But in an enterprise scenario, if you see that, similar thing is the laptop is actually can be replaced with server, storage, and networking. Let's think that way. So in a data center, these are the main things you'll find: the servers, some storage, some networking, and they are combining together to give us the whole hardware requirement for our enterprise applications, right? Then in some 2000, I believe, 1 or something, VMware created a layer called virtualization layer to virtualize the operating system in 2001, I believe. So that time, there was another layer we introduced between the servers or the hardware and the operating system. We installed another layer of virtualization. And the intention of virtualization layer was actually to divide the operating system into multiple operating systems itself, so that we can have multiple machines running in one hardware layer, right? So that I'll not go deeper into this particular thing. Over a period of time, maybe it will clear. So I'm just telling how it evolved. So this is what on-premises virtualization layer came in the period of around 2005, something like that, or 2005 to 2008, that period. So this is what on-premise things what happened, and in 2000, I believe 2010, VMware released the first cloud software. That was that time I was with HCL. So they released the first cloud software, and that was, they call it vCloud Director. So that time, this virtualization layer became a cloud software. So they call it simple IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So AAS is nothing but as a service. So we call it now anything as a service, but it started basically from the leftmost on-premise with a virtualization layer. Then it moved to a cloud software that is called IaaS. So what they did is, with the cloud software, the virtualization, servers, storage, networking, all are just a black box to the end user. That means the end user need not know anything about the underlying networking, underlying storage, underlying servers, or underlying virtualization. He will just have a console or maybe application, and he will create his operating system directly on it without knowing what hardware I'm using, what storage I'm using, what networking I'm using. That does not matter to me, because what I am interested in, my operating system should be able to install on the hardware which is provided by this software. And that was the cloud software provided in 2010. And that was, I believe, the first cloud software provided by VMware. That was vCloud Director. So that, and that we call IaaS. That means the operating system need to be installed by the user, whoever uses it. Only up to the virtualization layer is provided by the service provider. Networking, storage, servers, and virtualization. Up to this layer, everything is provided by the service provider or the cloud service provider. Next, then remember one thing, that means in a IaaS, this is a typical question in general today. I don't think this is an exam question anywhere, but in general, in IaaS, do I have to manage my own operating system? The answer is yes. In IaaS environment, you need to manage your own operating system. That means if I want to install Windows, then I have to install Windows. If I have to install Linux, then I have to install Linux. And even if I am responsible for providing the license of the operating system as well, if I have to have a Windows license, Windows server, then obviously it is my responsibility to provide the Windows license where I will be going and install it. Okay, so in the next pass is actually, if you see the rate up to runtime, that means suppose I am a Java developer. I am a Java developer. Then what exactly I need to develop my own application? Because I don't want to literally, if I am a developer, what I need, I just need a Java environment where JVM, I need to, so that maybe I need Eclipse, and I need a JVM. These are the two things I need. I don't need to know what is an operating system. I don't need to know what is the hardware. I don't need to know what is networking. I don't need to know what is storage. What I need is just one Eclipse development tool and a JVM where I can run my code. These are the two things only I need. And obviously, after compile, I compile my Java code into a class file or maybe a jar file. I also need to know where I'll run this jar, right? So up to here, that means if I need to have a cloud or if I need to have a service, that means my service provider should provide up to Java being installed on it. That means I want to create a machine or environment where already JVM is also installed. So what I'll do is I'll have my own tool, which is a Eclipse, and I'll push my code just to run that on that environment, and it will give me the output. So if you see here, in the past, the application and data is only provided by me, but all of the services from runtime to networking, everything should be provided by the service provider. So, and as a user, my responsibility is just I'll give you the application and the data. That's all. But in the next level of cloud, it is again another SaaS. That means I don't need to provide anything. Just I need to have the I just want to use it. Suppose I'm a Salesforce. Giving an example, Salesforce, you just use it, right? You don't need any like you just use your application. You just use the application, and you pay per month or pay per year or something like that. You actually don't need to provide anything, right? So even if you cloud the HR software, right? The give. In fact, okay, nowadays a lot of people are, another is, if you see, okay, how many, you must be using Jira and all, right? Jira?
Yep.
Okay, so all these, all the DevOps tools, mostly, if you see in the DevOps world, many DevOps tools are provided as SaaS application nowadays. So the GitHub, the GitLab, the Git, then a lot of softwares nowadays, they're providing just a software to use. You don't need to install anything on anywhere. So have you used Bitbucket anytime? Bitbucket. So these are some of the examples of SaaS: Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, or maybe some other, in fact, Docker Hub, right? Docker Hub. So these are
might be like Microsoft, that Online 365.
Yeah, Online 365, Microsoft, anything. So these are already, in fact, Gmail itself, simple application, Gmail, right? Or maybe Outlook, right? So it's a mail application just provided for, though it is provided free, but we're using it as a service actually. Let's take an example of Gmail. It's a free service, email service, but it is provided by obviously Google. And we don't need to install any hardware, any software, any application, but we are simply using the service. So that's a good example of SaaS. Am I correct? So just for the new guys who are all new to cloud, SaaS is nothing. It's simple example of like Gmail or any email service. So that's SaaS. Okay. So that's some of the basics. Just wanted to actually before we move ahead, I wanted to just talk about it. So
sorry, I have a question, like the fundamental. What is the fundamental difference between on-premises and the private cloud?
Okay, so going back. So here, if you see, we are talking on-premises means when every bit of all the layers actually are managed by me. If I am to create on-premise means, okay, I have a small data center here itself. I'm talking around, I want to show you one thing. Okay. Just to give an example, can you see me? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see my hardware?
Yes.
Okay. So this is actually a server. It is actually a small server. It has got around 128 gig of RAM, though it is so small, but trust me, it has got 128 gig of RAM. Okay. And it is a 6-core CPU, and it is having 2 terabyte of solid state drive. That means it has got network. Obviously it has got, if you see here, 4 network ports. That means it has got networking. It has got a storage. It is having a hardware like server, which is having a RAM of 128 gig and 6-core processor. So it is actually data center. Let's call it a small data center. Okay. So if now this is simple hardware. So going back to our slide, on-premise means I suppose this is my office and this is my company, and I have installed my server, I have installed my networking, I have my storage, and I install a virtualization layer here, right? That is maybe a VMware. Actually, I have installed VMware ESX server on this. So the virtualization layer also here. That means if you see from bottom layer, networking, storage, server, virtualization, I have it already, right? And I have installed virtualization, and now after virtualization, I have to install either Linux or maybe Windows. Then I'll install my middleware, I'll install my Java, I'll install my database, or I'll install my application layer also. So that means everything I am managing here, right? Everything from top to bottom, everything, all full layer, whole stack is managed by me only, or by my company. So this is what I call, this is my on-premise data center or my private cloud, right? So when all the whole stack of the technology is managed on the premise of the company or the organization, or maybe by you or your organization, that is simple called on-premise, and the whole stack is managed by you or by your company or by your environment. So that's, and private cloud is, you asked on-premise and private cloud, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so this is what we call non-premise. Now consider the private cloud. So now suppose I have done everything from networking to the application layer, everything I managed. Now my wife is there, okay? Suppose I am to give you an example. But I am suppose the IT division, and my wife is working on some application there. She wanted, Punch, can you create a VM for me, so, and install all the operating system. This is my requirement. She's a developer, suppose. She asked me a Java development environment, create a VM, install everything there, install the operating system, install the JVM, install the middleware, everything, and provide her that environment. So that's, and obviously suppose this is one thing, and that should be done automatic. That request should come from her, not by talking, but by filling maybe a portal which is created by me. Suppose I created a portal in my family that, okay, hey, don't talk to me. Go to this software, open a portal, and send a request to me. And that request should be automatically, it should not be, it just should come to me for my approval maybe. And once I click approved, then it should be automatically provisioned, and she will get an email that, hey, your environment is ready, you are ready to go and use it. That's called private cloud.
Okay.
I'll just add to this point if you give me a minute. So all this on-premise cloud is like bare hardware, like your server, your network, and everything. For a private cloud, most of the time, like you can say 100% of time, there is a management software which runs everything, like OpenStack or VMware, and if there is a management tool that that's give you on-demand on-demand hardware, like network, your servers, computing power, your storage. On other hand, on-premise is just like bare one. You buy servers, you put it in the rack, you put it, hook the cable, you get the data store brought, and again SANs, and you fit it in the cable, and that is, you manage everything on your own. It is kind of little more cumbersome, which the virtualization tools like VMware and all try to overcome with their softwares to give you a private cloud. In both the case, it is managed on in the enterprise, like in your organization, but the perspective of catering those services is different.
Yeah, so I just read it, made it read, on-demand self-service. As long as it's on-demand, it is coming on demand from the application team or maybe the user who needs that service. And it is self-service. That means she or he has to, the user has to fill up a portal, and send a request that, hey, I need a VM size of 1 vCPU with 2 GB of RAM with some networking and some software, maybe Windows software, Windows OS, or maybe a Linux OS, and JVM should be Java. It is for Java should be installed on it, and maybe MySQL should be installed on it. I need this virtual machines to be configured automatically to me and sent me so that I can start using it. As long as it is a self-service, it is provided by a self-service portal to your set of users, that's called private cloud.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So just because we are already 9, so just to I'll jump to some of these are all maybe later, but now let's quickly finish some of the things what we intended to finish actually. Hands-on requirements. Let's see what are the requirements you need to have. Okay, so what I expect all of you is create a free account on AWS. Okay, and it is absolutely free for 1 year. You should know that, no need to fear. It will ask you a credit card, your credit card details, but they will not charge you. I have multiple accounts I'm using, so you don't need to fear that your credit card will be charged unnecessarily. They won't, believe me. AWS, so please, if you are in front of your laptop or desktop, please open this, aws.amazon.com. So I believe next time when we're meeting, everybody should have an account created so that we won't spend more time on this. So please go to aws.amazon.com and create your own account there. And it is a free tier account. It will be valid for 1 year and they won't charge anything. So I believe it's a good tool for learning cloud and free of cost. So of course,
yeah, I just went to the login. This Raja. I just see there's an option called as a root user and I'm a user. Which one I had need to choose it?
Go slowly in the interest of everybody. So I'll not jump into it. Please bear with me. So slowly, step by step. So sign into the console. Can you see my screen?
I think we are not sharing the screen.
Okay, I'm not.
No.
Okay, oh, sorry. I'm not sharing the whole desktop. I shared the application. Just 1 minute, please. Can you see this now?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, so aws.amazon.com. This is the website. Now go to sign in to the console, and here, if you don't have a user ID or account already, then what you do is create a new account. Okay, so if you see here, AWS account includes 10 months of free tier access, which includes you can create actually 3 instances. You can have S3 account, like S3 is actually simple storage service.
Can I interrupt? So if I go to aws.amazon.com, we see, I see that I don't see any console. I see a simple create free account. Is that the one?
Yeah, you can do that. Create a free account.
Okay.
Okay. And give your email address, which is obviously some reliable and safe, which is multi-factor. I encourage to have multi-factor authentication to your email ID as well, so that it cannot be hacked or something like that. So please do that and create an account, email address, password, and in the next, once you do that, it will confirm your email ID and it will send an email ID. Once you confirm that, it will ask your credit card details. Okay. And they'll charge, I believe, $1 to you just to check that, yes, it is working and you are the owner of it. Okay. And that's all actually. Whole 1 year, they will not charge anything unless you explicitly ask them. Okay. That I want to upgrade it. If you want to use it and upgrade it, you are free to do so. But unless you ask them, they will not upgrade it. And okay, and they'll send an email that, hey, you are trying to access. If you want to access more than the free tier, whatever they offer, they'll give a warning that, hey, you are trying to access more than what you are supposed to do, and this will be charged to you. And if you say yes, go ahead, then only they'll do it, and they'll be very clear in that. Okay.
Got it. So coming back to the contact information, we should create the account type as personal, right?
Create a personal, yes.
Okay. If somebody wants to create and share the screen so that I can guide, I have already one, so I will not be able to create. I'll stop sharing. If you want to share, please do that so that I can guide. Sure.
Yep. Okay. Personal and phone number, United States. Okay. Yes. Go ahead, please. And here you don't need to share your number, obviously. Please don't do that. I will do that first. Create your, give your credit card information. And please, again, I'm asking, don't fear about it that, okay, they'll charge. No, they will not. Believe me. Many people have, they fear to give their credit card. No, it will be charged. Don't have that fear, I believe. You should be good. And please let me know who are all trying now.
Yeah, Raja, this is Raja. I'm just trying it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just come to a screen where it's asking me to give the credit card information. Let me just put in the credit card information. Give me a minute.
Okay, I can share the screen now.
So basic plan free. Now sign into the console. So yes, root user, go to root user. So root user, actually, just let me tell you what exactly root user is. So normally when you create an account, you are the owner of the account, okay? Because you created a personal account, obviously there is not many users because you are the only user, right? So, and you are the only user and also you are the root user. That means you are the owner of the account. Root user, nothing but the owner of the account. So, but in a company, what happens? It may be one owner, but multiple users, right? One account, whole thing will be utilized by one account. It will be charged to one account, but there will be many users. In that case, it is called IAM user, that we'll discuss later. Okay, no, don't you need not do that. So I'm talking what is IAM user. IAM is user where there are multiple users exist in one account.
Got it.
Sorry, Varmesh. I'm just there in the. I just created one. It comes up with an option of this, Raja. It shows basic plan, developer plan, and business plan. I have to choose the basic plan, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. When I came back here, I had to just choose the root user and IAM user to log in.
Stop the sharing of screen and can you please share your screen?
I can't share it because I just connected from the laptop. I'm just talking from the phone. It comes up an option like sign in with the root user or IAM user.
That's what he's here. You see the screen, please. Somebody, this is shared by Tirthankar.
Okay.
See, yeah, root user.
Okay.
The root user address, please.
So just to clarify, right, the root user is basically the user who is going to get the
In this case, you are the owner and you are the root user.
Got it.
So go ahead, please. Next.
Yeah. Yes, I can. I am able to create it. Thank you.
Okay, good. Now, let me now log in and let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. So
What is AWS account name during account creation?
sorry?
What is AWS account name during account creation?
Voice is breaking.
Oh, sorry. What is AWS account name? Just anything we can give.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, that's not for root users. So I'm logging in as root user. So mine is multi-factor authentication enabled. So I'll tell you what exactly it is. Okay, so if you are logged into this is up to here, how many of you got up to here, please? Can you raise your hand, please? Okay, 4, I do see 5, 1, 2.
Yeah, this is Raja. Yes, I did also create one permission.
Okay, good. Okay, so here we have already now if you want to see here, if you are up to here, if you have got any problem later, if you want to try it later, you are good. Definitely you can do that. And if you face any trouble or any problem, please send one offline mail or a message I can definitely guide you. Okay, so here, now click the services, and you see these are the services available on AWS Cloud: compute, storage, database, management and governance, analytics, end user computing, Internet of Things, okay, and then networking and machine learning, application integration, so on and so forth, robotics, business applications, a lot of services related to different aspects of IT services, right? So first thing first, I'll give importance to security. So here, when you go to service, you'll find something called security, identity, and compliance. So do you see IAM?
Yep.
Identity Access Manager. This is IAM. Okay. Click here. And in that way, if you see here users, click users. You won't see anyone. Do you see anyone?
No.
No, because you don't have any user added yet. You are just a root user, owner of the account. That's why previously, if you see, I was actually, this is again, I don't normally log into my root account because that is not advisable, because you are the owner. Anything wrong you do, anything, it can affect your whole account, right? So normally, it is not advisable to work as a root user normally, okay? Because that's like, it is not advisable in a Linux system to log in as a root user. Same thing, it is not advisable to work as a root user or as a account owner of your cloud account. So what you do is create a user called ruser, or hold it please, because I have logged in as a root user. So what you do is go to okay. You password, a lot of things.
Your voice is breaking, sir. Sorry, your voice is breaking.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, now it's good. Thank you.
So users, just today is first be familiar with this console. You don't need to do anything. Just be familiar with what services, what are the services provided by them, and identity providers, account settings. If you see here account settings, you can see a lot of things. Okay, let's talk about a bit more about the cloud and what are the reasons, what are the AZs or availability zones. Let's talk about a bit before talking about all these things. So now what you do see here actually, global here as a region. Do you see global or something else?
Yes, global.
Right top.
You see the global.
Okay. Now go to EC2. Go to services, EC2.
So you want us to click on global?
No.
You want? Okay, sorry.
Services. Go to services, EC2, and in the compute, EC2.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to, I'm just struggling between both the things. Sorry. Okay, you want me to go to services, and which one you want me to choose? Sorry.
Click on the services.
Okay, I did.
Compute. Do you see left hand side compute?
Yes, I did. Yeah. EC2.
Just click. Sorry, can I just interrupt? I don't want you to digress from here. I know we went ahead. When I was talking. You spoke something about the multi-factor authentication.
Yeah, I'll go back to that. maybe next session.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't want to make it complicated today.
No problem. No problem. Yeah.
But you have to install the app on the mobile and all. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
I don't
Got it.
want to do that into complication so that the first dose will be heavy. Okay.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So today, just let's browse through the console.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here, when you go to services, you click EC2 and go to then the see right top corner. It is either showing Ohio or maybe for you it will show North Virginia. Right?
Ohio.
Ohio.
Ohio, okay. So these are the, if you see here, when you click here again, you see these are called regions of AWS regions. That means these are the actual physical data center location for Amazon. These are the places they have physical data center.
Got it.
So North Virginia, they have one that is called ES-East-1. And Ohio, they have called, so they have East, West, and if you see US regions, they have East and they have West. So East region, West region. US East-1, US-East 2. Then US-West 1 and West and North California they have, and Oregon they have. So these are the 4 regions they have. And why the regions? Obviously, they are physical data centers, and obviously when VRs, okay, are to be configured, obviously you want to configure them in multiple regions so that one region goes down, another region still up. Okay. So if you see, these are the Asia Pacific regions available. We have one in Mumbai called AP-South-1. Okay. And then Canada Central, Europe, Middle East, South America, and so on and so forth. There are so many regions, and you can see what are the regions.
Hey, Panchaleshwar, sorry to interrupt you. Actually, we are run out of the time. So my request is there any way that we can have it continued tomorrow? Sorry.
So, okay, yeah, we are already 9:22.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So that's fine. So let's decide now. We cannot have every day, obviously. We'll do that maybe twice in a week.
Okay.
Okay. So because of everybody, they'll have their own commitments again, and I do have mine as well. So we'll have twice in a week, and we'll give maybe a lot of homework. Okay. So that way that you also do the hands-on and you practice yourself. I believe we all are senior. We all can do our own work irrespective of whether because of our own interest were coming. So I believe we can adjust that way, right? So we'll have either Saturday, Sunday 1, or we can have both day 1. But I like to have maybe Saturday, Sunday 1 class or 1 session, and maybe another session on maybe Wednesday or Thursday.
So in that case, can we start a little early maybe so that we can finish by 9? If we're just having 2 sessions, maybe 1.5 hours, like today we had almost 1.5 hours.
Yeah, definitely. We can have maybe 1.5 hours each, and we can start it maybe at 7, and we can finish max by 8:30 or 9. Is that okay with everyone?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yep.
Good for me.
Good for me also.
Which all days you said? Monday and?
Not Monday. Maybe we'll decide Wednesday or Thursday, or then another one is Saturday or Sunday.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that is doable.
So that we'll have sufficient time in between to practice also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll change my slides according to the way we want to go. Slowly, not very, I didn't have a clear idea how I want to take it, but next session I know I will have a proper view. Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
So you will let us know the next session by message on WhatsApp.
Yes, we will have it, and we have the email also, so that I communicate with you all, and request you all, whoever attended, who all attended, to send their email ID, please, because I think I don't have all the 31, 33 email IDs. Request you to send your email ID.
So you want us again to send it out because already like we got the invite. The people who are all got the invite can ignore it, right?
Already got the invite, no need to send. I want to have so that next time I send to everybody, so that I know who are all attending.
Sure.
Great, guys. I appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Hey, thanks. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have the session, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Take care.
Really,
Bye.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Bye.
Thank you so much for your time. Yeah.
Thank you.